you might catch it on the wings and do it, or at the top of the key. So think about those two things, is just making sure that we change the kind of where they attack from, and then also kind of how they attack or the pace that they attack at. If we do those two things, and we have all those moves that I just gave you, the one-on-one, mid-range, and finishing, there's tons of options for guards to have. We're going to start out when we get back, going over post-up, just so you kind of have the base of the post as well. We got a couple-minute break. Yeah, a couple-minute break to grab water, grab drinks. Now I know some people are outside, so they're just going to miss out. So we're going to go over post play. So again, a couple of reminders real quick. Can you guys throw me one of those balls real quick? You throw me that ball? That's all I need right quick. Just to address the one-on-one moves, just because I got a couple of questions on them. On the first one, the inside out, I know it's tough to see if you're over here, on that push out. So the push out is, ball is basically inside right here. I always like the ball in your shooting pocket. So if the ball's here, hands over top, you just push right there. So my hand literally stays, it goes from over top to the side, right there. So it's dribble, push. So it's a lot more efficient than the in and out where you have to kind of almost carry the ball to go in and out. Okay, that was one of the questions. On the shift, the ball goes one way, body goes the other way. Ball is here. See, I just did a regular crossover. Ooh, you go as the ball is going. So the ball starts to go and you start to shift. So basically you load on this foot right here. So if I'm here, bang, I push off of that foot that's going there. Right there, or you guys see Jamal Crawford do this a lot where he goes behind the back, or behind the back, and does that. It's just a shiftier, craftier way to play basketball than a traditional kind of always doing with the ball. And then the last one, the crossover jab, is just a cross, then jab. So it's a cross, then jab, and go. It is not a cross jab at the same time. It's cross, then jab, and explode. And you can keep that ball protected. Last question that we have is basically letting the ball. When you do the shift, one of the concerns that you have is when you shift the ball is here, defender is there as well. The reason we do it is because the ball should be tight on our hip. If we fake down, so if we fake down right there, our defender should drop so that when we shift, they can't get to the ball. And then obviously if we got them to shift downhill, it'd be a quick crossover and we'd explode in the opposite direction. Or if they shifted with us, then we did explode the opposite direction as well. So it's either here, and you notice that's real tight and real quick if you notice that they fell for it. If they didn't fall for it, it's just that stunting go. I just want you guys to know where the ball is, kind of the positioning, just so you don't think, I don't want my players to expose the ball to the defender. Now let's go over post play. Post play is one of my favorite things to teach, just because I feel like not many post players know what to do. Most of the time when post players kind of are growing up, their coaches say you're bigger than everyone, get down there and score. And obviously there's a lot more to post play than just score. First thing, I always like to say where you catch the ball is the most important. So what I'm going to tell you guys is I use the term couch because I say like in your house when you're really comfortable, you're sitting on your couch watching TV. So I tell big guys all the time, where are you comfortable? Your couch. Well, if I want to score, and this is my couch, this is where I want to catch the ball, then this is where I feel comfortable scoring the ball, I call it the couch. Second thing, when you catch the ball, the angle of your feet, if you just drew a line from this foot to this foot and extended it, should go to the opposite elbow. The reason is now I have room to operate on both sides. If you go like this and put your butt to the rim, now my vision is blocked off to here. Whereas if I'm here, now I can see the entire floor. So I'm checking over my inside. Obviously, I know what's on that side. I can feel it. And now I can see it all the way to the corner with my peripheral vision. So feet go to the opposite elbow. There's going to be simple moves that I'm going to run through them real quick, and I'm not even going to have to bring them out here just so you guys can see them. The first one you've got is obviously a little drop step, which would mean if I catch the ball here, my defender's on my inside, all I'm doing is dropping this foot, bang, quick, 1, 2, and finish. We work on that a lot, and that never happens in the game, but that's one of the moves that you can do. Obviously, if you have any defender with any type of IQ level, that's not going to happen. Second move, which is a realistic move, is you catch the ball here, you pound dribble, nudge them with your chest, and spin back. So I'm here, and now I spin back for a baby hook. Let me give you one teaching point that this will change your post player's game, if you can master this. When I do this dribble, most players get their foot here. And then when they open up, they get their hips going this way, and they shoot a twisting, turning hook shot. 45 degrees is going to change everything. When I go here and dribble, I want to get this foot 45 degrees. If I do, then my hips will naturally just open up, and then I can shoot my normal hook. So when I go here, 45. That's all I'm thinking about is dribble, 45. Because then my hips are going to open up, and then I can just shoot a regular hook shot. That is the #1 teaching point when you're teaching hooks. Most post players suck at hooks, and they should have a left hand or right hand hook. NBA All-Star bigs, again, a fact for you. NBA All-Star bigs actually shot better with their weak hand than they did their strong hand over the last 5 years. And they both were at 45%, which is really, really good. Now, if you look at the shitty bigs in the NBA, they don't have a weak hand hook, and they get their strong hook taken away, and so they end up shooting really bad. The average last year for non-All-Star bigs, the last 5 years actually, was right around 27%. Now, obviously, that's a big difference, but it's again because All-Star bigs are the best bigs in the world against the non-best bigs in the world. There's a big difference in how well they convert their hooks. So that's the first thing: is catch, boom, dribble, bang, 45 degrees, and you got your base hook. Your second move you got is a half spin. Here's where a lot of people mess up: half spin. Most people do this: dribble, and they pivot on this foot. So you dribble, pivot, and come back. Now all my balance is leaning this way. My hips are extended out, and I can't explode up and shoot a jump shot. What we want to do is we want to hunt the midline when we do our half spins. So when I do my half spin, notice what I do. Watch this foot move. I dribble in, and I push it out to that 45 degree, and now I get more separation. So again, I'm going to walk the forward through, dribble in, that's simple. When I half spin, the ball comes to my shoulder, I drop my shoulder to sell when I'm going baseline, and then I cheat and get this foot 45 degrees again, but I get it closer to the midline. Dribble, boom. Now I've got an extra 6 inches of separation. Now a 6'6" guy just became 7 foot. Now a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", undersized in the high school post became a 6'8" guy because he got that extra 6 inches of separation. That's huge. So again, half spin is boom, drop, get that extra separation, and then finish. That's move number 3. So you got your drop step, you got your one dribble spin back, you got your half spin. Third one is a dream shake. Hakeem Olajuwon used to use it a lot. All you're doing is dribble, and you jump backwards. Land on a jump stop. Now I can fake this way, come that way, or I can fake this way and come this way. So that would just look here, dribble, bang. Now I can fake as many times as I want to. Just give a little shoulder fake, dribble, bang, right there. You can fake as many times as you want to. Most of the time, it's just going to be a 1-2 count that gets them going. Big guys are not used to guarding 2 fakes. So that's the dream shake. That's our 4th move. The next one is a push-out step. This is huge. I'm here. My defender's playing behind me. All I want to do is, can I have one of you, right there? Yep, big guy, yep. Come guard me real quick. So say he's guarding me, he's behind me. Say you get low, just like you're playing defense on me. If he's right here, I'm going to tell you the simplest read is going to make your post players smart. Most of the time, big guys are dumb. This is going to make them halfway intelligent. If I'm here and I'm looking over at my angle right here at the opposite elbow, and I don't see his nose, right now his nose is not in my vision, then I'm going middle every time. Because his foot is even with mine, which means I know I can just, boom, I'm over top of him every single time. If I look right here and he's a little bit higher, you can go right there, yeah. And I can see his nose now. Now I know every single time I'm going into his chest and spinning off baseline. So it's nose. All I'm doing is look right there. Is his nose right there? If his nose is not, I'm going middle. If his nose is, I'm going baseline. That's the simplest trick that you can give a post player. Again, it makes a dumb guy halfway smart. Now, the push-out step. If he's a little bit lower, and we see if we can get that midline right there, a little bit low. Right there, we can't get there. All we're doing is dribble. This foot, this outside foot comes to middle. And then I push over top, 1-2, and finish it. So if I'm going again, I want to get to the midline, most people just drop. Like this, good big guy swatting that. But if you're good and you can dribble here and then beat him over top, now to the midline where I can finish that. So that's a push-out step. If you look at the speed of it, it's just kind of like a slow, quick, and I'm on balance and I'm finishing. So push-out step is our next one, which is our 5th one. Our last one, that's our basic kind of moves that I think we need to have. And first off, if you got those, you got a really good high school or even college big guy. If they can master those and then add a shot fake to it. But there's one more that I really like that I think big guys can have, and that's some kind of baseline spin. I just call it quick spin. Some of you guys see like when guys here, he's leaning on me, quick drop and finish. Or you see like Tim Duncan's mastered where you're dribbling and then can spin off your back foot right by him and let him fall forward. So quick spin is that last one. Right here, dribbling, again, he's nudging, boom, spin off, and now I'm able to finish. So quick spin off the catch or quick spin off the dribble. If you've got those, you've got everything that you need. I'm going to give you one more if you've got a higher level guy that gets double teamed. So say you've got a really, really good post player that gets double teamed a lot. And say there's a guy that's trapping him from the nail, meaning like where the free throw line is, and he's doubling you. If this guy knows that he's got a guy trapping, his responsibility is what? Take away the baseline, right? Because this guy's responsibility is the middle, this guy's responsibility is the baseline. So what you'll do is you're dribbling, you see the double coming, you float back. Well now what? He's still at that low angle. This guy thinks he's done his job, he recovers, and it's a pound 1-2 into our running hook. So if you got a good guy that gets doubled, he catches the ball, he sees that double, float back, 1-2, and now you get your running hook. Those moves right there, if you're a big guy, and you have those as a low post player, you're incredibly good. Okay, you don't need anything else besides this. We good on those? Mid-post. Mid-post is the exact same as triple threat, which is what we're going to cover now. So triple threat or mid-post. I'm going to do it from the mid-post, but all these things apply to the outside. I'm going to show you right now why Kobe Bryant is the most effective basketball player out of the triple threat. And it's going to seem so simple. You're going to think triple threat is the easiest thing in the world. If right now he is forcing me to my weak hand, so he's taking away, I'm right-handed, so you're going to force me to my left. If he's taking away my strong hand, we've got a weak series. Here's the series. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to subtly reach. This is called a reach jab. Keep the ball on my hip. I can be jabbing, but I reach. If I reach and say his foot stays inside, so say you keep your foot like guarding me right there, and I reach and he doesn't see it, I'm going to do a duck under and try to get that cheap pop. Boom. Or I'm going to do an over top rip, where I'm here, if his hand stays low, he's protected, and I take this, he doesn't move, so you don't move, boom, I just over top, bang, and try to run into him. That's the first one, is a reach jab. You got a reach jab, duck under, or a reach jab, rip over. Second one is if he does cut it off. Most people do cut it off. So I go here, and he cuts it off. Now what I'm going to do is called a load step. Right now, if I rip through, I would attack and I would go this way. I want to try to get downhill. So when I go here, I'm going to quickly load and right behind. The reason I do this is because it's actually quicker. My high school coach, who I love, I've learned more from my high school coach than anybody else, he used to always say never go backwards. But studies actually have shown that you get quicker to that next spot and it's at a better angle if you go back than just going forward. Because right now, if I go from here and I rip through 1, 2, my second step to the rim, but it's, again, 2 dribbles, whereas this way, I'm there in 2 steps, it's a backwards forward, but I'm there in 1 dribble. Again, it saves you time, more efficient. So right here, the second one is, if he goes for it, bang, quick, and I'm loaded, I'm by. You obviously, for higher level players, will also have, like, if he cut off that drive, you'd have a step back real quick, or you have, if you're really good, kind of that shuffle, boom, where you get to space and create it. That's number 2. So 1 is reach jab. Number 2 is that load step. If you don't have either one of those, you go here. Doesn't work, it cuts it off. You go here and it gets back in position, where all you do is say, you're cutting me off right there. Because again, if you have a straight line drive and you use it, you just step into it and pound, dribble the ball, open up, and now you've got your live ball. That's it. That's how simple Kobe Bryant's when the guard to the weak side is. The reason he's so good though is because his jabs change speeds. which is our next little teaching point. Most people think a jab is this. It's the same thing every time. It doesn't work. A good defender's going to sit on that. If you watch good defender or good offensive players, sometimes they'll keep the ball in his hip. Sometimes they'll bring the ball. Sometimes they'll say you're actually guarding me square. They'll do a two-tap, which means he's there, and I tap, tap. So you've got to change speeds with your jabs. Don't just teach this. The other thing is a jab is a dry fake. Too many people do this, like they're cutting down wood. You are faking a drive. So when I'm here, I've got to duck that shoulder. I might sometimes just boom and go. I might sometimes tap, tap, and go. Just make sure you change your drive. So that's number one, is if they force you weak. If they force you strong, he's there. You're in a protective stance. Ball's outside hip right here. The first one you got is just a, right here, trunk twist. So I'm just going to trunk twist, boom, get open. Using my hand to kind of get it off. I'm here, again, get it open up. Bang. Right there, get to my spot, pull up. If he does cut me off, which happens most of the time, it's a quick crossover. So if you keep me down to the spot, boom, I just got that quick cross, and I'm gone. Or a quick rip through, and I'm gone. That is how simple a force strong is. And then lastly, you guys, if they are even with you. So right now, he's even, he's not forcing me one way. We've got two different variations of this. The first one is a knee chest. Knee chest, or some people call a rocker step. Where I fake to the knee, I keep this foot planted, and I go back to the knee to get him leaning, and then I go over top of his chest right there. Two low jabs, gets their hand down low, then you rip over top, and they're gone. You also realize what I did was by keeping this first jab down, I really cheated. I gained about a 4-inch separation. So I'm here, jab, fake, over top, and gone. And obviously, he's got to fall for this, otherwise I just rip through. So it's more of like if I'm going full speed, you're good right there. It'd be bang, and go. Just a quick bang, bang, foot goes with that X rip through, and gone. That's the knee chest. The last move right here is a shift. Exact same thing we worked on earlier, where if I jab and say he's not getting the results that I want, I'm jabbing, it's not working, he's staying still, he's doing good, that's totally fine, we got a solution. We're going to pound the ball and jab our foot at the same time. Ball, opposite foot. He's been sitting on our jabs, boom. So what we're going to do is we're going to pound and jab and open up, and then we're right behind him. So watch this again. If I just do this and shift, I haven't gained any angles. But now if he's flat and I do this, now I've gained an angle. If he cuts me off, I've got a quick crossover. If he doesn't cut me off, I've got a straight line drive. It's that simple. That is the whole triple threat or mid-post series. If they force you weak, first thing you're doing is going reach jab. If you don't have that low step, if you don't have that cross step, and play. If they're forcing you strong, you got trunk twist and go, trunk twist and cross, or play. If they're straight, you got your knee chest, or you've got your shift into what I call a hip swivel, where you hip swivel, and then you're behind. That is the whole mid-post or triple threat series. That makes triple threats so much easier than what we normally do, which is just jab, 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 and go, jab. It's now we got to plan it. That's what you want. You want to boil it down to the simplest point where you give stuff to your players that they can actually use in the game. That's mid-post, that's triple threat. Next thing I want to talk about, and this is the hardest thing to talk about, is shooting. Shooting. And I'll tell you what, shooting is the hardest skill to teach, which is why most coaches just completely don't teach it. I get guys all the time getting ready for the college, from college and preparing for the NBA draft that don't know how to shoot. And if you look at the NBA, you look at some of the best players in the world, all-star players. Dwight Howard shoots 50% from the free throw line. Josh Smith the other day missed, I think, 17 free throws in one game. There's guys that get paid tens of millions of dollars a year to know how to shoot, and a lot of times it's because they never been taught, because people are too afraid to teach them. Or number two, because they give a BS excuse. It doesn't feel good when they change their shot. That's a bad excuse because I always tell them, the reason it doesn't feel good is because you've shot wrong your entire life. So what's wrong feels right, and what's right feels wrong. So that's the first thing that they gotta have in their mentality. Here are the shooting teaching points. If you don't take anything else away, these shooting teaching points will help out. Number one, and I'm gonna give you 10 of them, and then I'm probably gonna add about 50 more. Number one is balance base. You gotta have your feet 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, balance base, which means your feet are parallel to each other, and you're in a comfortable stance. That's number one. Number two, this is something a lot of people don't realize. Have your hands spread, your shooting hands spread. That gives you more control of the ball. Most people just have it right here and sit on your hand. Can't shoot like that. Hands spread. Number three, center the ball. So I always say these two fingers are the last two fingers that come off the ball. So we want those right in the middle. So if you see that air hole, just put those two there. Keep that hand spread. Now we've got a good firm grip right in the middle of the ball. That's number three. Number four, this is the one where if you got a bad shooter, I guarantee if you go back and look at their shot, it's because they don't get the wrist snap back. Most people don't have wrist mobility, they get it to out here. Great shooters get the wrist snap back. So, snap wrist. Right there is number four. Number five, balance hand, not guide hand. We don't want this hand guiding anything. Is on the side of the ball. And it's going to stay vertical throughout our entire shot. So when we go here, it goes up, it doesn't go this way or that way, blocking the ball. Number six, hips. Hips. Get your hips engaged and keep your core engaged. Hips mean both your hips should be going down, basically so you can load your shot. And then your core being engaged is key because you don't want to twist and turn. You got to think about, I always say like the 6-inch drill, when you see people doing abs and they go like this, the people that are like shaking all over the place, you know they don't have enough kind of stability in their core. They're not strong enough in their core. Same thing, if you don't have your core engaged, like locked in, when you shoot, you're going to twist and turn. Okay? Number 7 is rhythm. Rhythm. It needs to flow through your feet, through your follow through, and it's got to be one smooth shot, no hitches. Number 8, elbow to eyebrow. When you finish it, your elbow should be at or above eyebrow level. So when I finish, boom. You look at that right there, eyebrow level or above. Number 9, pointer finger at the rim. When you finish, if that thing's straight, the ball is going to be straight and the backspin is going to be perfect. Number 10, balanced landing. That's where most people mess up. I told you guys the stat about twisting in air. If you twist in air, boom, your percentage drops by about, literally 37%. That is a huge difference. When people, the best shooters in the league, when they landed on one foot, their percentage dropped down below 30%. You're talking about Kyle Korver, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, all those guys, just those guys, the top 8 guys, shooting under 30% because they weren't disciplined and they didn't do the things they needed to do every single time. So those are my Big 10 shooting keys. Now, a couple things I think will help you guys out, which is, again, the goal of these clinics is to help you guys give stuff that you guys can take back to your players. What if my player does twist? Alan gave you some balance drills kind of already to work on it a little bit. But I'm going to help you guys out. Will you come up here with the ball? Yep. You got it right here. Come on, you're good. So if they twist and turn, so say they jump and twist in the air, what you're going to do is put that ball between your knees. Right here it is, right there. You're going to have to hold it in between there. I call this knee hug shooting. And what you're going to do is squeeze it in, and you're going to actually jump up and shoot. Jump up and shoot, and land. Look at us landing. Perfect. Shoot. Land. Good. Perfect. Jump up and shoot. Good. That's right. Jump up and shoot. Good. Perfect. More. Good. So you notice that just solved the problem. He's never going to turn. If he turns, watch what happens. Ball comes out. That's that solution right there, now we know. If they do this and just turn a little bit, the ball will naturally come out or it'll start to go away or we have to set it up back every time. You should be able to go up and shoot 25 shots in a row jumping without that ball coming loose and ever. That's our first solution. If they twist and turn, that's what we got. If they use their thumb, which a lot of players in part size get on the ball using their thumb, what you're going to do is you're going to put a quarter or any kind of money like change right in between your pointer, your thumb, and your pointer finger. If they flick it, money's